Yeah, well, no, fine. Good. Welcome back to the Blunders. There's a presidential election going on in the Ukraine right now. Now, let me explain. First off, Ukraine is a country in a tricky position. Remember, they have the bothersome neighbor next door, Russia, which in 2014 basically just invaded Ukraine, grabbed the Crimea, and still occupies the whole eastern part of the country.
Yo.
They're having an election because the guy elected, Petro Poroshenko, who's kind of like the chocolate baron of the Ukraine, you know, like he's the Willy Wonka of the Ukraine. He's done a terrible job over the last 5 years. The corruption hasn't gone down. Everybody's grumpy and unhappy.
Yep.
There's a guy who is leading the presidential elections who came first in last week's poll, and now the two of them go into a runoff, but he's leading by miles. Listen to this.
Guy?
His name is Vladimir Zelensky. He is basically a comedian, a 40-year-old comedian and screenwriter. And the reason he shot to prominence was that in 2015, they recorded a TV show in the Ukraine, which was called Servant of the People, about a 30-year-old history teacher who made a video clip complaining about corruption in Ukraine, which goes viral in the show. And then the show became massively popular. And then he launched, in what must really be the finest example of life imitating art, a political party called Servant of the People, the same as the TV show, and he's going on to win the presidential election. An actor and a comedian who played the president is going to be elected the president.
Wow.
But just so as you can see what kind of skills the man has, take a look at this clip that's appearing over my left shoulder. This is him and another one of his comedian mates basically playing the piano with their dicks some years ago. Tremendous. Look, he can only be better than the current incumbent. Right. So here in Johannesburg, there are parts of the city, some burbs, where you cannot build anything unless you have plans drawn up by an architect, which are approved by the municipality. Then there are other suburbs where you can do whatever you like. You can build on the boundary line. You can build a 5-floor shanty, if you like, with tin and wire it up with extension leads and connect it illegally to the grid, if you like, and nobody gives two shits. But if you think we've got it bad, consider this story from France. There is a fellow whose name is Pierre Diter, sounds like an arsehole, who built himself a chateau somewhere near Nice in southern France, in the Provence area. And unfortunately, after outlaying nearly R1 billion rand over a 10-year period, turning what was a 200 square meter farmhouse into a 3,000 square meter place he called Chateau d'Iter, where he hosted, you know, wild parties, celebrities, booked the place out for a whole night. Understandably attracted a bit of attention from his grumpy old French neighbors. So a court in Aix-en-Provence has basically told Mr. Pierre Diter to take the whole thing down. Gone, down. He's got to restore it to the condition it was in before.
Or else?
And on top of that, he's got to pay a fine of like 7 million rand. So he's agreed. What can he do? This is France. You can't mess about. You can't slip a bribe to the prosecutor and have the case dismissed. R1 billion rand's worth of building. Out the window. Tough times. So have you uploaded your most personal thoughts, your most artistic productions, your creations, your most important moments as a family to websites like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Strava, your runs? Well, of course you have, just like everybody. And you're probably assuming that the stuff that you've put up there will be there forever. You know, it's a wonderful resource. You can go back in years to come and relive those happy holidays. Well, maybe there are two news stories which broke in the last 2 weeks which should give you reason to pause with regard to that. First of all, MySpace, which used to be the most important social media website of all back in the early part of the century, in the 2003s to about 2012, announced this week that all of the music uploaded to MySpace between 2003 and 2015 is gone because of a sloppy server cut-over data back-end management project gone wrong. So, for example, if you were a band, a musical band, you used to upload all of your stuff there and everybody used to follow you there. basically people launched their entire businesses and careers on MySpace. That's all gone. Here's another story. In the last week, it was revealed by Facebook that an important person's posts from 2012, 27, 28 were lost. And the important person I'm referring to is the CEO of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg. His own posts about their merger and acquisition with Instagram, all of the business posts that he put out to the community and to the assembled users in 2007, 2008, also gone. Gone because of, I don't know, technical issues. That's what's happened to the CEO of the company. So if, you're posting, if you and I are posting, who are we? We're nobody. So just think about it. I don't know what the solution is, because keeping them on a stiffy disk in the basement is obviously not the solution. But you'd think with all of their server farms, they'd be doing a better job. Come on, guys. Right. Airlines. Notorious blunders. Blunderers. Always blundering. This story is even better, though. A British Airways flight taking off from the city airport in London, en route to Dusseldorf in Germany. Takes off, no problem. People are just getting settled, kicking back the chairs, having a few drinks, looking at their watch, typing up a little bit of the PowerPoint presentation for the meeting. The plane comes in to land in more or less the right flight time, and the crew announces, "Welcome to Edinburgh," in Scotland. Apparently it wasn't a mistake. What happened is that the flight crew, who literally just arrive at work and get told, okay, there's your plane, and they get the paperwork and they say, okay, you're off to Edinburgh. They gave them the wrong documents, the wrong pack.
Wow.
So air traffic control, the pilots, everybody on board thought that they were supposed to be going to Edinburgh. The only people that were in the wrong were the passengers. So the plane was basically refueled and flown to Germany from Edinburgh, but seems to me there's kind of a Brexit metaphor in all of this. The whole country was traditionally on a flight path for Germany and is now finding itself rediverted to Scotland.